Welcome to the Life and Leadership Podcast, where we discuss business, leadership, and friendship. I'm Zach Gable.
And I'm Jared Toach. Thank you for joining us today.
Welcome, everyone, to our podcast. I am Zach Gable. This is Jared. And Jared, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
It's that wonderful time of year. It's Christmas season.
Beautiful time of year.
Oh, it's beautiful, especially when I'm out and about.
That makes it beautiful.
Oh, absolutely.
It is getting quite cold, though. We have a cold front coming in. We're actually recording this the day before Thanksgiving.
It's icy in here.
Yeah. Personalities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Somebody has a very stark and cold personality.
Cold
It's
heart.
fine. Cold heart. It's
So,
fine.
when we release this, Jared, it will be December 15th. So we'll be coming up on Christmas.
That is. Yeah.
It's coming up. We've already decorated. Have you done any decorating for Christmas?
No. I've only, I say no, but I do have a few lights outside.
That's the start.
That's
a good start.
And get on it.
So anyway, welcome to our podcast, and we appreciate you being with us. We do have a very, very exciting event coming up.
We do. I
in
almost
January,
forgot. Yeah.
Late January, we're hosting a leadership conference here in Southern Indiana.
I would call it a mini conference.
Mini conference.
But I
yeah.
don't know the number of registrants.
Yeah.
We're about up to full conference size.
Yeah.
Mini conference
Yeah,
size.
mini conference. Right now, sitting around 60 people.
Yeah.
Anyway, very, very exciting. So we are planning to record that as well, the best we can in that type of setting, and looking forward to sharing that with you all. So,
Absolutely.
well, Jared, what are we going to talk about today?
I thought you brought the topic.
No, this is my first time ever doing this.
You know what? I think my presence is enough here.
That's a perfect, with it being almost Christmas. Let's talk about Christmas presents, but not presents with a T, but presents with a CES, like our presents. What do you think about that?
Like our presence. Oh, yeah.
We may have discussed this already.
And I thought I was pretty clever. That he did.
But yeah, we're going to talk about, just for play on words' sake, since we're coming up on Christmas and we're in the holiday spirit, we're going to talk about Christmas presents.
Who's in the holiday spirit?
I am in the holiday spirit.
Actually, you are a little bit more
I am.
chipper today. Last time you were kind of grumpy when we first started, so.
Here we go again.
Icy.
It's icy cold in here. So, we did briefly discuss, right before, obviously, trying to...
Like 5 minutes before.
Yeah. Trying to figure out, exactly how to present this, but...
Present the presents.
Present the presents.
Mm-hmm.
Present the present of presents.
It's part of being present in presentation.
We're not
We're
going to get anywhere.
So confused. We're going to confuse our audience in what we're talking about.
So, in this, obviously talking about presence, being present in the moments,
Mm-hmm.
This is not only on, this can be on business side with your team, this can be on friendship side, and it should be. And so it's an important topic, important thing to keep at your in your mind at all times, of how valuable it is to be able to spend quality time with people, with loved ones, and with your team. So
With those you love and those you don't. It's wonderful. Yeah.
So what do we have going here?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
That's a toss-up. No, I think you're absolutely right. So we know that presence is important,
Mhm.
right? Being present is important to the people around you, and your presence matters because presence leads to focus. It leads to attention. It leads to a sense of security for those people that you are with.
Mhm.
And it also, granted, like if your presence is negative, if you bring negative vibes and negative energy, then 100% your presence is not always welcome.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've all walked into those places where somebody's come into the room and they may be giving off those vibes of like lots of negativity, negative energy, which is a real thing.
Oh
right?
yeah. Yes.
It's
Yes, it is.
it's a real thing, and you give those off. But presence is important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the presence of showing up fully you is important.
Well, and you make a good point there that not only are we talking about just being physically present, but your type of presence is important, as you just stated, showing up with that positivity and not being fake. Like we've talked about this before.
Oh, yeah.
Like people can tell when you're fake, but being real and being genuine, and people know that you care.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I know we've seen that before. We've probably all experienced that when someone is going through a tough time. Sometimes it means so much more to them to just be in the room and be there as a comfort.
Yeah.
There's times where words can't say anything, but being there
But
and
somebody's
showing that your
presence or
support.
knowing that you're nearby.
Yeah.
Not to bring up my little episode from last weekend, but that was for me that was a reassurance as I sat back there in the ER, and you and Amanda text, and I heard that you were sitting out there waiting.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that was like, it was, I don't know, there was something about it that was kind of solidifying, knowing that people who I care immensely about and love dearly are nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily like your presence wasn't there in the physical room, though it was later, though you came in later, but just knowing that your presence
Mm-hmm.
was there, it meant a lot to people, you know.
Yeah.
It meant a lot to me
Yeah.
as a human being. And I think it's important to remember when we talk about our relationships or friendships and those types of things, is that that your presence does matter.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you think like people don't miss you, people won't care if I'm not around, but sometimes we don't realize, we think because somebody doesn't speak to us, or somebody doesn't talk to us, or somebody doesn't recognize that I'm physically there within their space, that it doesn't have an impact, but actually it does.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't realize the impact of our presence that it can have on somebody's emotional status, you know, their well-being.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just that simple presence.
So let's take this just for a moment into the business world. You know, I love talking business, and so, and you know, I love small business. I love our team, but I think especially as a leader, really in any position in business, but especially as a leader, I think your presence, being there with your team, whether it's good times or bad times or just the day to day, I think it makes a huge difference. I think in my experience, just being there, and we can go back to kind of what you were saying when you were in the ER. Many times in business, you have the ability to reach into someone's life a lot deeper than just the workplace. So if someone is celebrating a new baby or mourning, you know, the passing of a loved one, things of that nature, you can show up at these events, you know, show up or send a gift, send a card, send a happy birthday card, something along those lines where you are showing that you are invested, if you will, into more than just the business side of it. You're invested into them as a person. You're invested into their personal lives, if you will. I know earlier this year we had two of our team members that were blessed to have children, and so it was a great thing to be a part of, in the family atmosphere. Hopefully they felt it too. I think they did. That we had several thank yous and things, but being able to have it just like as a family and celebrate those moments with them, I think that goes a long way in the business world. And like I said, not even if you're not a leader, but just being a part of a team, and being able to provide that reassurance, if you will, that we care, you know, and that we're here more than just 7 o'clock to 4 o'clock. We're here for you. And I'll be honest, I've seen our team, even there's been a couple times I can think of that they knew someone was going through a rough time, and they got together and put together a basket of just goodies, snacks, a card, just nice things, and went and dropped it off at their coworkers' front door after work. Things like that go a long way, and I had nothing to do with that. That was just them as a family and as a team rallying around someone that was having a hard time. So again, presence, we're taking it way out of just the context of just the physical
Gifts,
presence,
yeah,
but and gifts, yes,
Yeah,
but I think so much more than the physical presence is the emotional presence, if that's even a thing. Can we say that?
Yeah.
Emotional presence of just knowing that's I've got your back.
Right.
We're here, we're family, and so coming off the business side as friends, knowing that we're not blood related, but that we're family, and
Right.
we have each other's back, and we've both been in those areas where I've been in the hospital. One of us has been in the hospital. Or you've been in the hospital, or whatever, and.
We sound like old people when we say that.
We do. I'm in the nursing home one week, and you're in the nursing home.
We just switch out rooms.
But we've been there,
Right.
and so we have not only the physical presence, but also the emotional presence of knowing that we have each other's backs. So.
Yeah, I think that's important, and I am quite certain that there's probably some research out there around, and somebody else can look it up because we didn't look it up. Because of course we didn't plan for this.
Yeah.
But it's fine.
I have one note. It says Christmas presents.
Yeah, about the emotional presence of a person.
Mhm.
I'm sure there's some research, and there's definitely research about the physical presence of a person. There is scientifically proven, the psychological state of a person improves by the physical presence of someone else near them.
Yeah.
Much less the emotional presence of someone. So when you have somebody with you, you can, and once again, it depends on that individual. Now it can be a negative presence, but let's talk positive. Like we're coming from a positive space.
We're always positive around
Yeah,
here.
We're always positive. Positively not positive. No, but the physical presence of someone near you also helps to reduce anxiety, helps to reduce those things. And if you think about that, if you are presenting, or if you've got a really important task, or really something that you've got to complete, and you have the physical presence of someone that you know is your supporter and your that is your fan, they're in your corner, there is something calming about that helps to, I would say, lower the blood pressure, lower the anxiety. And there are actually studies that prove this point, that when the physical presence of someone, a trusted person or somebody, is around you, it does help that. And I think that's important as leaders. So we go back, and we've talked about this before in the past, and I feel like some of these topics we're touching on today are bits and pieces of what we've talked about in previous podcasts, but it talks about psychological safety and creating a psychologically safe environment, a psychologically safe environment. And the importance of that, and part of that is the leader being present. And sometimes you think, well, it doesn't matter. They don't need me to run the organization. They don't need me to make things happen. I trust them. They can do it on their own. But there is something to be said when if you are leading a company and leading an organization and you are present. Your physical presence is there.
Yeah.
Now, granted, if you are a tyrant of a leader, I mean, I'm quite certain everybody's celebrating when you're not.
Go away. Go back on vacation.
Yeah. You're like, we were much happier when you were on vacation. Okay, if that is the case, then maybe that's a whole other scenario. But now but like I said, we are talking from a positive standpoint. But when leaders are present, there is a safety. There's a sense of safety. I remember as a director, people appreciated when I had multiple sites and locations I was going in, they appreciated my presence. And especially if they were having difficult conversations with family members, even if I wasn't going to be in the conversation, just my presence at the facility or at the location or on site, knowing that I was nearby, that was helpful for them. Like they felt like they could have it. I also had family members ask me, not personal family members, I'm sorry, families that at the locations where I was director or an educator, asked me to sit on conferences and meetings with them, with other individuals kind of outside of our realm or our domain, because they wanted somebody else in their corner. And while they couldn't necessarily maybe articulate that piece of the presence, like helping to calm their nerves, and they articulate it more of like, well, we want somebody that knows and is knowledgeable, et cetera, et cetera. They wanted that presence there. Part of it, and I strongly believe, is it's a calming. It's reassuring.
It's like a safety net, if you will.
Yeah.
So how can we use that? Use the presence,
our presence for positive,
and our voice and our actions in the way that
persistent, passionate pursuit of leadership.
that's a lot of P's.
Sorry, it started going through my head, so I just let it out there.
So how can we use that in our friendships or in our workplace environments? How can we use not only the gift of our presence? That sounds really, really egotistical to say it that way. But the gift of our presence, of anyone, no matter your role in the place, the gift of your presence, as well as the gift of your voice and what you can do to help people.
But I think it does sound egotistical, but what is the one thing that everybody always says they don't have enough of? Time, right? Yeah. So the gift of somebody's presence, actually, in a society, in a world that is fast paced and that is, we're always, and I hate to say this, but I really feel like this is a personal opinion of mine, but it's very self-absorbent, or self-consumed. Like we're about us.
100%.
We're about me. It's all about me. It's what I like, what I want. So oftentimes that gift of presence, it is a gift.
Yeah.
Like it truly is. And people recognize that.
Yeah.
Because people recognize that time is important. It's your friend. It's valuable. It's all of these things. And then by you sharing that allocated time or that amount of time with me, that's a huge deal.
That is so good, because it is such, the world we live in, it's everything is about me and what I can do for me, and self-absorbed, like you said. So that's very, very good point.
And I know people, and I've watched people in rooms, and people call it working the room sometimes, and depending on your motivation behind it, right? But I've watched people in different settings, like touching base with people and making their physical presence and their emotional presence known. And that was one thing I learned in adult education. Like when you are presenting and when you are working and when you are coaching and when you are mentoring people, the importance of making sure that you kind of touch everybody in the room, not necessarily physically, obviously, but that you work your way around the room, understanding that your presence is important and understanding that their presence in the space is crucial, right? And letting them know that it's worth their time being in that space and giving them that. So it truly is like your presence is a gift and their presence is a gift back to you as well.
Yes. Yeah, there's nothing, to me, I can't think of many things that are more frustrating than trying to talk to someone and they can't take their eyes off their phone or their gadget or whatever long enough to have a conversation with you. So yes, it is in a world that is completely self-absorbed, having that moment of turning your focus away from whatever you're doing, whether it be writing or on a device or reading, whatever, having that gift of looking away from what you're doing and putting your focus
Yeah.
on who you're talking to.
Yeah.
That is 100%. I agree with you. That is a gift, and unfortunately, it's a lot of times it's a rare gift. It's something that you're not able to
You don't
receive
see
too
it,
often. Yeah.
And I think back to something you said about the emotional presence before, sometimes when you physically can't be present, but the emotional presence. And I think you don't want to 100% rely on it, but I think technology in some ways has allowed us to stay connected to people, to in some ways engage. It's more surface level emotional, but you can engage with a person on an emotional level, being emotionally present by letting them know like you're thinking of them, taking time in your day, because it is still a moment of time that individual took to stop and to let them know that they were thinking about you. And I think that goes back to what you were saying before, because that was space that they took out of their day, out of their time. And that's, it really should be a part of all of our all of our lives, and not just rarities, but in such a busy world.
Yeah.
So I guess this is a perfect time for us to have this conversation as well, because oftentimes around the holidays, we get so wrapped up and wrapped up.
Wrapped up like
we
a
get so
present.
busy. We get so busy, right?
Yes.
We let the rush of the holiday season, all the parties, the events, the things, we let that consume us, and then we actually neglect to be present with any of that.
Yeah.
Right. So we're just kind of bebopping and rushing from here to there, and we forget to be present.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is a great reminder.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I actually was picturing in my head as you were talking about the holidays and the busyness of it and everything, and I think so many times, even I grew up in a very large family, and so on my dad's side, very large family, and I can remember going to some of our family gatherings, and you aren't even able to talk to half the people there because there's so many people there. Now it's dwindled down as the events aren't as large and things, but I still find that sometimes we can go to these events and there are people in there that we don't even say anything to, because everyone has their little group and their thing.
I've been to some of your family.
Yes, you have. And so I just wonder, how much it would mean to others if we took a moment. I'm challenging myself here. If I took a moment
hello.
to say hello, someone that number one, some of them I only see 1 or 2 times a year, but people that I really don't get to spend time with, especially not quality time with, and just to say hi and see how they're doing, because especially if you're only seeing them once or twice a year, that can lead to a lot of regret whenever someone is no longer available to be seen, and then also one thing you said, you were talking about the technology, about how that kind of helps connect, and in our industry, we have drivers, and so there are many of our team members that are kind of out by themselves. We're not all in an office setting, and so many times we have to use technology to reach out and to just check on people, whether it be a text message or a phone call or whatever. But I do think it's important to again take that step, even if you're not there, even if it's not a physical presence, but an emotional presence, and just say, hey, checking on you, seeing how you're doing, thinking about you and your family, whatever. And so, technology definitely can help with this as well, the gift of our presence.
So I was laughing, not to jump back to your family event. So if I were sitting here just giving you coaching advice, advice. So one of the things say we want to become more present, right? Mm-hmm. So say my goal is I'm setting a New Year's resolution, whatever. I'm going to become more present. And so you take an event like that. I think also don't underestimate the power of your presence, period, at the event like that, right? So that's a first step, is like showing up to the event.
Yeah.
Now, if it's an event that causes more drama and trauma and tragedy, in your world and life, then okay, that's a whole other topic. You probably shouldn't be going to begin with, right? But if it is an event that you do feel that is significant and meaningful for your immediate family, for your extended family, then like simply your presence does matter. And then the next step would be then, okay, then how am I present? So then what does my presence look like? So now I've showed up, I'm here at the event. Now how am I going to be present? And that's the same. So if you flip that in into the workspace, right? So I've showed up to the workspace. Great. Step one, got you to work.
Yes.
Glad you showed up to work today. Yay. Round of applause.
Good. Oh, yeah, here we go. There we go.
You showed up to work. Yay. Okay, right? So then it's how you're present, right? It's how you present your presence at work. And then it becomes that part. And so then that's the next step of like working on, as an individual, like working on yourself, like working, and obviously we're all a work in progress, but then how am I present? What does that look like when I'm present?
Yeah.
And I always remember, I had somebody tell me one time, they said, Jared, just come sit by me, because I feel like every time you are near, like it's just much calmer. And I didn't have a lot of interactions with this person, but I did see this person a few times a year, and we did like presentations and different types of things together. And so they would always, but every time we were together, whether we were co-presenting or whether they were just presenting individually, they wanted my presence near them. And part of me was because like I always knew my place and my role. Like when I was in the types of situations that we were in, I always knew my place and my role. And it wasn't, if I was just there to be there, then that's who I showed up. I showed up to be their support. I showed up to be their cheerleader, to be their thought partner. Whatever they needed me for is how I showed up.
Yeah.
And that right there, it was, in my mind, is key to knowing how to show up. Because if I would have showed up as uninterested, on my phone, running in and out, doing this, doing that, high strung, all of those things, the next time we presented together or worked together in the same venue, they would have been like, make sure he stays away in the corner. Make sure he doesn't sit next to me, because how I present myself in their presence matters. So yeah, I think that's a whole other line that we could go down.
Yeah.
But
there's so much here, and it's so. I think it's one thing that in all honesty, we probably, most of us take for granted, not realizing how much our presence means, how much each of us,
until somebody's gone.
Exactly.
You don't realize it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Until they're not there.
Yep.
And good or bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But honestly, yeah, I mean, I think that's true. Like I said, I know we're kind of just repeating ourselves a little bit here, but I think that's true in friendships, and I 100% think it's true in leadership. How you show up, when you show up, where you show up as a leader matters.
Yes.
It matters.
100%.
The when, where, and how of your presence. There we go.
Yep.
The when, where, and how of your presence. Yeah.
Is that our new title? Take out Christmas presents and change it to?
No, I just think that's a little nugget in there. The when, where, and how of your presence matters, because if you show up all flustered and anxious and upset, and I get it. Like, I'm a person, I struggle with anxiety, I struggle with all those things, just like half the world does, but if you show up and bring that all the time to your workplace, like, they don't want your presence. But when you show up yourself and you're just there at the workplace, and I'm here doing my job, doing my thing, working alongside you, giving you a pat on the back, an attaboy, like, way to go, it matters.
Yes.
Because then when you're not there, and that doesn't happen for a long time, people are like looking around like, whoa. Because it does create that psychological safety, sense of psychological safety. It does lower the stress levels. Stress might still be there. Stress is still going to be there. Problems are still
we
going
talk
to be
about
there.
that often at work. You know, everyone is going to have good days and they're going to have bad days. It's
Yep.
life, you know,
Mhm.
and it's part of a career.
It's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a secretary in a school building. Like when you, sorry, not.
It's been years and years since I've been in a school building.
Well, it hasn't for me. I think it was like a week or two. That's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I'm in schools. But it reminds me of, so when I remember when I would walk into our school and our secretary was present at the
Mhm.
school and her presence was there. And this was when I was in coaching and then more administrative roles, right? But even as an educator,
Mm-hmm.
there was such a sense of relief,
Mm-hmm.
like when I walked in the door, because I knew they knew how to do their job. They knew how to take care of things. They would filter things that didn't need to come to me. They would take care of it. Like that sheer sense
Yeah.
of presence right there was like, whew. Like,
Well,
was a relief.
Just on the surface level, even as an outsider coming into any place of business or school setting,
Mhm.
that first face and voice there speaks a lot about the organization.
Mhm.
And so the presence that's shown there, the first
Yeah.
impression presence,
100%.
can say a lot. You know,
Mhm. And I think we can definitely go down another rabbit trail in terms of, I was having a conversation with someone today about some of the social issues.
we never go down rabbit trails.
Yeah.
We always stick straight to the script. So I don't know why you would do that.
Kind of all over the place today.
But it's good stuff.
Yeah.
This really is, and it's important. It's important that the topic that we're hitting on. It's very important,
Yeah.
and it's something that I think we, as a culture, we get further and further away from.
And that's what I was going to say. So I was having a conversation today with someone about the actual physical presence of people.
Mhm.
Because if you stop and think about this, we are now engrossed more and more and more in our own worlds, lives, social media,
Yeah.
isolation from this, or isolation from each other, more remote work, more Zoom meetings, more disconnected,
Mhm. Yeah.
less social.
Yeah.
And I would love to see, I'm sure there's research out there regarding where we stand as social beings currently,
Mhm.
because I'm very curious about that, because the more and more, and then how well are we interacting better today in social settings than we were 50 years ago, or are we now, has that trend gone down?
Yeah.
Because your presence does matter.
It does.
It does.
Yeah.
Our leaders realizing that when you are in a facility, when you are in the building, even if somebody's coming by just to ask a question, and maybe they're just like, oh no, he's popped out for a second, but he'll be back,
Mhm.
this time tomorrow. Just somebody knowing that, well, you are here some.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
know that. So your presence
Mhm.
does matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I got off on a tangent there.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
I know we're
Enjoy
wrapping.
it. Yeah. So this Christmas, make your Christmas presents
Yeah,
be presents.
yeah.
Make your Christmas present be presents.
And that could look like a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just. I think in a world and a time when obviously people are more scattered across the country and families aren't all in one space anymore, it looks a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
If you're able to connect with your family 100%
Yeah.
in person, great. If you can't, make sure that you give the presence of your time, dedicated time,
Mm-hmm.
to make sure you're reaching out and connecting
Yeah.
with them
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, as you said, go back to it as you said with the technology. So if you cannot physically be present, make them take some time to be virtually present, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or for some of
Awesome.
those, maybe you just need to be present in
President?
spirit. You need to be present in spirit. I was thinking about you. No, you can cut that portion out.
Oh, we're leaving that in. All right. Well, Jared, thank you.
Thank you.
Kind of a shorter one, but again, I think.
Well, we were a little bit
honestly,
all over the place on this one. Next time we got to get our
and
notes
we
together.
have turkey on our minds, Well, actually, I don't like turkey, but we have Thanksgiving on our minds. Do you like turkey?
You have a vacation.
You do like turkey.
I do like turkey, but you have a vacation on your brain.
Yeah,
like
that's
you
true.
are.
Yeah.
You've been wound for sound. So
Yeah, we'll be on a cruise ship here in a few days.
he took
so.
me less serious today. I appreciate that. I'm never gonna let him live it down. Never.
Well, we hope you all have had when this is released had a great Thanksgiving, and we hope that you have a great Christmas. And again, we'll have another podcast before then, but
Before Christmas?
no, before the next thing I'm going to talk about,
Oh.
the conference, the Southern Indiana Leadership Conference.
Yes.
And we're extremely excited about that. So be on the lookout for that. And our new email is info@lnlpodcast.com.
I know.
Did I get that right?
I think you did.
So happy.
Yeah, I am too.
So reach out to us. We would love to help out in any way that we can. We're all about helping out small businesses, organizations,
We'll
schools.
take donations as well.
Yeah, we will.
For all this equipment. 100%. Make it out to Jared. That's Jared, Toach, T-O-T-S-C-H.
Thank you all. Have a great one.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.